Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this one I thought we'd do some smooth locomotion. There's been a few people in the Discord who've been looking into it and trying to get it set up, so I thought it could be pretty useful for everyone. The first thing we need to do before we jump in though is make sure you've got a VR template open, and we're just going to use the motion controller and we're going to focus on camera snapping for this one. So basically moving left to right and how you can use the thumbstick to move in between. So I'm just going to open a blueprints folder. We're going to go to our motion controller pawn, and we're going to do everything in here basically. So the first thing we actually need to do is create an input. So we're going to go to edit, project settings, and we're going to scroll down to the engine tab and then go to input. Once we're in input, what we actually need is an axis mapping, and in here we just need a thumbstick. So you can see it's actually got the motion controller right thumbstick already in there. We could actually use this one that's there, and let me check. Yeah, so we've already got a motion controller thumb right. We'll use this one, we'll use the X. So motion controller thumb right, that's what we need. So we're going to type in motion controller thumb right X, and we're going to use this as our event. And before we go on, I want to say that if you want to make this enabled and disabled, so if you have a menu and you want to enable smooth motion, this is the perfect spot to put a branch. So you can actually create this so it allows you to switch between using snap rotation. But for this example, I'm just going to leave it. And the first thing we need to do is create a delay, because I find if you don't do this, it's way too smooth and it makes you feel sick. So I use 0.15, and then we're actually going to get these access values. So we need greater than float and a less than float. And what we're doing here is we're going to use the thumbsticks based on a value of 0 to 1. So if you're holding the thumbstick and you're not touching it, it's at a value of 0. And as you slowly move that up to one side, so on the axis, it goes from 0 to 1. And we're going to take that and use that to control this. So if the thumbstick is greater than 0.5, we're going to be able to move. If it's less than minus 0.5, we're going to actually go in the opposite direction. So we're going to use these to control which direction we're going. So we've got a delay, we've got our two greater than functions using our values, and we're going to need a branch. We're actually going to need two of these, so I'm just going to do Control W. And in here, we're just going to do a check. So we're going to plug these in. And now this is the part where we actually control our locomotion. So we're going to right click and we're going to do Add Controller Your Input. And we're going to plug this into True. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to press Control W, duplicate. And we're going to have a second one into our true value here. So now what we need to do is actually set up the angle of snap. So as you move, you don't want it to be smooth. You can do. It induces motion sickness quite bad, so we're going to actually create a value. So variables, I'm going to call this snap. Let's go snap value, or you could call it snap angle, and we're going to change this to a float. You can also do that by just selecting the little icon there, and we're going to bring this in. We're going to hit get. For the bottom one, because this is actually going backwards, what we need to do is invert this number. So I'm just going to drag off, and I'm just going to do a multiply, which is a star sign. I'm going to hit float. We're actually going to multiply this by -1. So I'm going to plug that into there, and then I'm just going to plug the snap value straight into the top one. So this is basically all it takes. What we need to do, so this won't actually work now. We won't be able to control the rotation. What we need to do is hit compile. We're going to go to motion controller, and on the right here, we're going to enable use controller rotation yaw, and we're just going to tick that to enabled. So now we hit compile, save, and I close this down. We'll jump right into VR preview. And nothing happens. That is because in our motion controller pawn, I didn't set a snap value. Just checking over my notes, which value to use. I'm going to use 5. So I'm going to hit compile, save. Now if we jump back in, we can actually use the right thumbstick to snap our camera to the angle that we actually want. So this doesn't work with the left controller. If you wanted to put your controls on there, you would just change the event. So if I jump back into Unreal, you would actually just change this event here, and that would allow you to control the snap angle. So let's do a comment, so we don't forget, and we'll call it camera snap angle, or just call it camera snap. And that's it. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and possibly subscribe if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel, you might not know we've got a Discord, which is linked in the description below. If you want access to the files that I've been working on and stuff like the Star Wars projects and some of the environment stuff, they're actually available through my Patreon, through the thank you tier. So if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description as well for that. And until the next video, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.